So last week, if you guys will remember, those of you who watched, I drew Spider-Man, and I think it was a pretty damn good picture. I said if you guys leave comments for suggestions down below, I would take those into consideration, and that would be the inspiration for this week's drawing. As you know, this month the theme is superheroes. What's left of it anyway. And I only got one comment, and it suggested Iron Man. Well, actually, it suggested Iron Man and Spider-Man in a very elaborate painting setting, but I'm just going to settle with Iron Man for right now. More complex stuff I'll do in a later video. Maybe. So yeah, let's just hop right into it. Okay, here we go. So starting with a circle again, as you should always do. I don't remember who taught me that. I think it might have been my 6th, 7th grade art teacher who explained to me that anything you draw, most art is just a bunch of shapes that you put together. And it's true. Although it wasn't so much a very useful tip to me because by that point I'd been drawing since I was very, very small. I didn't draw too many superheroes though when I was a little kid. I wasn't super into like Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, the Hulk. You know, I knew they were. I knew what superheroes were, and I knew like that they were popular and things like that. And I knew what comic books were, but I didn't have access to them where I lived as a kid. And I didn't even know that there were like 2 separate factions. I didn't know that DC and Marvel were separate entities at the time of my learning to draw. I think I might have done a few pictures of like Batman and Spider-Man when I was younger, but that was about it. I didn't do a whole lot of art. I was too busy being obsessed over dinosaurs to worry about superheroes. But I think I got a really good base going on for Iron Man's helmet here starting off, despite I think this is the 2nd time in my entire life I've drawn Iron Man, to be honest with you. So if it's not perfect, forgive me. I didn't use a whole lot of references except for like the basic helmet shape, and after that I just kind of winged it. Because I'm drawing these characters as part of this project, but I want to do as much of my own style as I can. Because, I mean, the best part about art is you can take artistic liberty, and you can do things your own way. Although there is kind of a finite way of drawing, like, heroes and things, mostly because there is sort of that subconscious, like, this is how the superhero is supposed to look. This is the most standard way to draw them, so whatever you do has to match that, which I guess is fine. There are other unique ways and things that you can do. But at the same time, you want it to be familiar, and you want it to be something that people will like and be like, oh yeah, I know that guy, that's that one movie that's really, really popular, right? So despite some artistic liberty, I don't take too much that you can't tell it's Iron Man, or Spider-Man, or whoever I happen to be drawing. And again, there's really only so much artistic liberty that you can do before you're not doing this standard thing, and I really just wanted to do the most standard concept as I could for Iron Man, as I will probably be doing for a lot of these heroes. And the more outside, or the more outcast, or the less popular a hero is, I think the more artistic liberty I will take, because heroes like Moon Knight, for example, it's a pretty standard design for the character. You don't see a whole lot with him, especially for fan art, you know, and things like that, which I don't see too much of Moon Knight, which is ridiculous because he's an awesome character, albeit a bit loony, but those are the best kind, I think. But if I ever get to that point, if I do draw him, I might, I don't know, we'll see what the comments want, because that's why I'm doing this. I'm doing it to see what you guys want me to draw, and it's good practice for me, and it gets you guys involved. So if you want me to draw Moon Knight, I'll draw Moon Knight. If you want me to draw Hulk, I'll draw Hulk, or, you know, whoever. I'll do, you know, whatever the comments want, because that's part of this project. But right now we're focusing on Iron Man, and I'm already moving on to the lower torso, the sort of abdominal region, which is really easy because you just gotta draw like separate plates, and the main body shape, which I probably should have just done like the basic body because that's normally what I do with this sort of thing. But I think because of all the different segmentation that's going on and all the different plates and everything, I had to be a bit more particular with how I did this. So I did each individual thing as I was going. And honestly, it came out a lot better than I thought it would because I did that. Especially since with this project, in order to get like the best poses and, better looking models out of it, I'm drawing everything from scratch because I have these pre-rendered models for like character designs from my comics and my animations and stuff, and I call them my dolls. And I just have dozens of dozens. Sometimes they're the same body type, sometimes they're others, and they're dozens of just human shapes, most of them human, some of them more anthropomorphic, some of them alien, different body types, but they're all pretty basic in their stances and their figures. And I've been trying a lot more to do, or to make poses and things for other use, because you don't want to just keep drawing in the same basic, like, stance. I mean, if I'm doing, like, some of the art I do on my DeviantArt where I just draw like the same character in like a different costume, or I'll draw like clone troopers with like different like armor designs things, that I guess that's okay because it's like comparisons and it's like different models of the same thing. That's alright to have like the same pose over and over again. But for these I wanted them to be more not eccentric, but more lively. I didn't want to just, copy paste every character and be like, oh yeah, no, it's this character, and then use like the same frame to draw like someone else. Like I didn't want to like draw Deadpool and then use the same character model or doll to draw like Wolverine or something, you know what I'm saying? Because that would be boring. That would make the series really boring really quickly, even though a lot of superheroes, especially like the ones with like the skin tight like uniforms and everything, they really are just like copy paste, I feel like, a lot of the time, except for like the design of the costume. But you still don't want to like do what I'm talking about. You don't want to just copy paste everything. So I'm starting from scratch with each individual one, which is good because that's more practice for me. I've been kind of lazy with how I do this lately. And there's nothing wrong with just going through and doing everything by hand. Speaking of hands, here we are going on to what I struggle with most, as I was talking about in the last video, doing hands, which I'm not doing too terribly. It's pretty basic, but you know it's a fist that you're looking at, and I got all the rivets and the plates and stuff in, so it looks acceptable in my mind. If you disagree, if you're one of those more professional artists who are more particular, I apologize for offending your senses. But, this is just how I do. This is how I'm most comfortable and gets the quickest result, and you know what you're looking at, so it works out for me. So in other words, na-na-na-na-na-na. I'm very particular with my drawing. Everything has to be perfect. There can't be any, like, extra pixels or anything just laying about, because that, to me, just looks like a crowded mess. Because when I first started drawing on the computer, like, a lot of my art wasn't very clean. A lot of it was just like, oh, pixels everywhere, dirty mess. An absolute abysmal sight. But since then, with practice and just me having a higher standard for my art, I have to clean up everything as I'm going. I have to have it, like, absolutely picture perfect in order to have, like, the right vision in my mind. And that way I don't have to go back through to clean it up and then, like, miss things. I just get it while it's there. And I've noticed that has a much better outcome for me, so it works out. We already got most of the line art done right by this point, just doing a lot more of the details. Gotta do that right hand here in a minute. And there I go, starting on it now. Yeah, it's going along pretty quick. I think in total, the entirety of this picture took me maybe... I don't think it took me more than 2 hours in total. it maybe took me, well, maybe it would take maybe an hour 40, 2 hours, something like that. So pretty good stretch of time. Didn't feel like that because, especially if you're like me, if you're an artsy person, you understand how like you start drawing something and you just get locked into it, and before you know it, like 3 hours has passed and you're still working on like one project. You're like, oh wow, time really flies when you're having fun, I guess. And that's the way it was for this, as it is with most of my art. As you can see, I'm kind of having some troubles getting the hand to look clean. I'm undoing a lot of what I did. Keeping a lot of that base in there, but adjusting it to look more natural, I guess, to look better than what it was. Because I don't like them having just like these bulgy sausage fingers. So I'm trying to undo a lot of that ugliness. It worked out kinda. I mean, the fingers are still kinda stiff. I didn't get all the bending in there that I probably could have. Doing a lot of straightening out. But I'm also a perfectionist, so even if I did do it like the long way, the hard way, I would be like criticizing it and be like, oh no, that's still too bumpy, or there's not enough curvature in the fingers at this position, or this or that. Just typical art bullshit. Because I have to. That's the thing too, like with artists, I know a big thing to do, or that a lot of people like to do, is like criticize and judge artists, especially on like DeviantArt or Tumblr or anything like that. People who draw or make art, I don't think a lot of people understand. Like when you go to like mock people or troll on them for their art, odds are everything you've said they've probably already said to themselves while they were working on their art, especially the people who aren't so particularly positive. People who are very self-conscious, they have a hard enough time doing their own art without criticizing themselves, let alone people coming in being like, oh, your art's so bad, or it looks like absolute trash, things like that, and just completely destroying and breaking down these people for trying to do something nice and to do what they like and do something that people like and that they share. I'm beginning to think like the white and the gold actually looked really good together. I might go through and do another one like that. But getting back, every hurtful, mean thing that critics can say to an artist, the artist probably already said to themselves, and they don't need to be hearing it from them. But I don't know, maybe that's just too preachy. I mean, no one's going to listen. People are going to keep doing it, but it's just interesting for me to think about. So I did the line art. That probably took about 40 minutes to an hour. Already colored it in, and now I'm going into like the detailing with like the light effects and the making that golden kind of texture on the armor, giving it that shine. I'm not the best person at it. There are a lot of people who do shading and like lighting infinitely better than me. But for what it's worth, being like the cartoon style that I work with, and being as simplified as it is, I think it works out, because you know what you're looking at, you know what's going on, and it does look good, I think. Maybe I'm tooting my own horn here, but I think my art looks really good, and I've been doing it for years, and I'm still improving. I'm 25 right now. I've been drawing since I was like, I don't know, old enough to hold a pen and actually make scribbles on it. I actually want to do a video where I go through and redraw a lot of my art from like kindergarten, because I have a booklet from back then that has a bunch of my like dinosaur pictures and shit, and they're just absolutely god-awful. But I want to do a video of me like redrawing what I did back then. But I've definitely had improvement, and I still have a lot of improving to do, I think, personally, because again, my art isn't perfect. And even like this past week, I've started doing like more detailed art, trying to do more realistic or less cartoony stuff, which hasn't worked out too great. It's not perfect, certainly, but a lot of people, from what I've done, the 2 or 3 things I've done this week, people like, so it's working out alright. And for what I do here with the shading and like the lighting on and the texturing of the metal on Iron Man's armor, I think it came out perfect, so I'm happy with it. Otherwise, well, obviously I'm happy with it because I would have still been working on it if I wasn't. It's a little tricky because you gotta get like the angles right, and you gotta take into consideration, well, how is the armor like curving along his body? How is it like, what's the movement going on here with like the armor? Because a lot of like what shading does is it gives it shape and it makes it seem less flat. But you also have to be careful because you don't want the armor looking like this oblong like monstrosity over the person, over the character that you're drawing. And that's something that I think I struggle with a little bit. Probably could have taken a bit more time on. But for what it's worth, it came out really great and I'm happy with it. And hopefully you all like it as well. Hopefully you're enjoying this. Those of you who have taken the time out of your day to watch this, I appreciate. Because whether you watch it or not, this is what I do. I like to draw. I do it mostly for myself. But if I can get views out of it, if I can show people what I do, maybe show them how to draw, or give them the inspiration they need to draw, because art is such a beautiful and fun thing, then, you know, it's a bonus. I'm getting pretty close to finishing this now, too, actually. Yeah, I like to help people draw. But drawing's one of those things, either you got it or you don't. I understand that, and like some people just don't have the passion for it. But if this maybe gives you like an idea of how to draw, if it helps you, that's pretty cool. That's not my exact goal in this, but like at the same time, I don't mind if I've helped somebody like discover a hidden passion they didn't realize before. Be like, oh, drawing's that easy? Okay, I can do that. Or, you know, whatever. It's all about like taking time, putting in the effort, and overall having the passion to do what you do. Me, it's more along the lines of like, not only do I have the passion to do this on a daily basis, but at the same time I'm also bored and just need a project to work on. So let's draw superheroes for a month and like, let's see if that's something that my YouTube is actually good at. Because as you all know, normally I do like rant videos and I just complain about stuff. But I stopped doing that last year because it seems like what everybody does is they rant about everything nowadays, you know, and what is there that I can rant on that everybody hasn't bitched about already, you know what I'm saying? Especially with like the whole like COVID nonsense and everything that's been going on in politics and just in the world in general. You know, I mean, what can I say that literally all of you haven't already, you know? And there's the finished project. Hell yeah. So there you have it. Another excellent DeviantArt quality Ironman for you. If you liked this video, go ahead and like and subscribe if you so wish. If you have suggestions for next week's hero, go ahead, comment down below. Excuse me. Yeah, let me know what your ideas are or what you want me to draw, who you want me to draw. It could be DC, Marvel, My Hero Academia, anything superhero themed. I will draw that hero, the one I see the most suggestions of anyway. If you want to support me in other ways besides, you know, watching this god-awful channel, links are down below for my DeviantArt. We can check out my other works. Commissions are open. I don't do very expensive ones. The highest I'll go is $20 for any sort of elaborate picture. I also have a link down below for my Teespring, so you can get some stickers to stick all over stupid stuff. You want some mediocre picture to slap onto your water bottle at work? I've got them. You want t-shirts with stuff people aren't fans of or don't even know exists yet? I got them. I even got stuff for my various comics, some of which you can see, like Lemuria. I have that posted on DeviantArt, so you can check that out. I have products on the Teespring. And my comic Helper Cat, which is posted in full, you can find on webtoons.com. So yeah, that's really all I have for this video. Tell me who you guys want to see next week, and I'll draw them. And I'll see you guys next time.